Real Madrid then escaped back to the Spanish capital with 3 points, but boy, were they made to work hard for them. It is 3 points that puts them level with Barca at the top of the table. Barca, of course, in action tomorrow against Sevilla, looking to get a 3-point gap ahead of El Clasico next weekend. Good game, Craig.
Two moments of brilliance. Mbappe from the mistake and the Luka Modric pass.
Yep.
And Real Madrid were not terrible, of course. There was some good play. There was the Bellingham chance. There was some others. But this was a proper game. You know, we sit here sometimes, particularly when Barca and Real Madrid are playing, and the other teams, the opposition, particularly as you go down the league, some sort of mid-table and below, even at home, they just sit in, try to just hopefully just get a point or something on the break or a set piece. You know, and sometimes it can be quite dull to watch that, and obviously frustrating from a Real Madrid and a Barca point of view. This was completely opposite. I just loved the approach from Celta Vigo. It didn't get them the 3 points, granted, but it could have done. It could have done. They opened up Real Madrid several times. You saw the graphic there. They had more efforts on goal. It was a really open game, and I also think that made the spectacle, but it suited Real Madrid because there was a little bit of space for them to run in behind, hence the goal when it was scored by Vinicius, which was a straight ball for a diagonal run. The timing of the pass was perfect. The timing of the run was perfect because when it happened, I thought, oh, that's offside.
Yeah.
As the defender stepped out as Vinicius was coming in, but everything was just timed perfectly. And we talked about Modric before the game, you know, breaking records, 39 years old. But what does he bring to the table? He brings quality in terms of the final pass. And we saw that today. That was the big difference between the sides. But
we were watching the game together, and you mentioned Bellingham.
Yeah, it's not quite happening for him. He was applauded in the second half. And I noticed this. When he went through that chance we saw in the clip, when he made that great run down the right-hand side, and he didn't have much support, as Shaq said, and he just pulls the shot a bit wide, just a little bit. Ancelotti was out in the touchline applauding.
Right.
Now, that's quite normal. You see that a lot, but you don't see it a lot from Ancelotti. And it almost said to me that this player's a little frustrated, lacking a bit of confidence at the moment because Mbappe's come in, he's scoring goals now, Vinicius is scoring goals. He was, Jude Bellingham, that is, the big story last year. Every week, we sat here every Saturday or Sunday, usually a Sunday, talked about Bellingham, talked about the goals, talked about scoring in the Clasico, the winner, talked about could he keep it up. He's kind of, we're not really discussing him as much these days. We're talking about, we're not talking about his influence in goals. We're talking about where's he going to play. Sid Lowe mentioned it at half-time. He was playing on the right side for a lot of the game, and it was a little bit different. But he just seems, and he'll probably say, you know, to the media, no, I'm okay, we're winning games. But I think deep down there is a little frustration in there that thus far he has been. And by the way, this is not new to this start of this season. He was like this for England in the summer. He cut a very frustrated figure in the summer at the Euros with, I think, the tactics of England and some of his teammates. And I thought at the time, it's just England. You know, Southgate is getting frustrated, but we've seen a little bit at the start of the season here. We've seen the frustration with some of his teammates. His performances have not been bad, but they're certainly down on last year. He'll be back, though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he'll be back. But I did think it was noticeable that Ancelotti was out, almost trying to G this player up and say, you know, don't worry about it, keep going.
I thought, give Celta Vigo their credit. At times, they wanted to, I think their first option was to pass the ball out to the back, and you saw a high press from Real Madrid to start with as a result. But we've sat here time and time again, and this is not about La Liga, this is just about football in general, where you see lesser teams try to overplay in passing the ball out to the back. What Celta did was, you press too high, they're going to clip it in behind. And all of a sudden, I thought that caused Real Madrid a problem, as they weren't quite sure. They never fully committed to a very high press because they know that ball is in behind. And then, as a result, they weren't able to get anywhere close and force the kind of mistakes, force the kind of turnovers you saw that at least brought the opening goal with any kind of consistency. So give Celta Vigo their credit for unsettling Real Madrid in that way. And Real Madrid, of course I'm going to see it this way, having somebody like Thibaut Courtois between the sticks, it proves how vital he is to their successes, even when he isn't making big saves. just because he is such a presence. And I thought that had an impact on the result as much as anything.
That save was very Emi Martinez in the World Cup final, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's the one you fell asleep during. Just a reminder then, lad.